Imagine living a life of unimaginable wealth, ruling an empire that spans continents, and flying wherever you want on a private jet adorned with luxury. Now imagine that all of it comes crashing down exposed not by a rival, not by law enforcement, but by a single video footage leak that shattered a meticulously built criminal empire. Tonight, we dive into the story of a private jet drug lord whose reign of power collapsed in an instant. For decades, drug lords have ruled in secrecy, blending wealth, intimidation, and cunning to evade justice. Their operations are carefully orchestrated, insulated from the outside world, and protected by fear. But in the digital age, even the most secure criminals can be undone by a single leak, a stray camera, or a shared video. This story is a testament to the fragility of criminal power and how modern technology, once seen as a tool for entertainment and connectivity, became the downfall of one of the world's most feared drug lords. The rise of the drug lord. The drug lord in question began life far from luxury. Born into poverty and surrounded by crime, early exposure to violence, smuggling, and street hustling shaped their worldview. They learned early that power meant survival and that wealth could protect against enemies. Through cunning, calculated risk-taking, and sheer ruthlessness, the young criminal built connections across borders. Smuggling networks, corrupt officials, and loyal enforcers became the foundation of a burgeoning empire. By their 30s, they were flying private jets, owning mansions, and controlling supply chains that spanned continents. Luxury became both a reward and a symbol of dominance. Private jets, exotic cars, and high-end properties were not just indulgences, they were tools of intimidation, signaling to rivals and allies alike that crossing this individual came with extreme risk. The private jet as a symbol of power. The private jet was central to their empire. It wasn't just a means of transportation, it was a mobile fortress, a boardroom, and a personal palace in the sky. Deals were negotiated mid-flight, shipments coordinated, and meetings held far from prying eyes. The jet symbolized freedom, control, and untouchability. Crew members were loyal, pilots discreet, and security tight. The Lord's lifestyle seemed untouchable, creating a public image of invincibility that few dared to challenge. Secrecy and control. The empire was maintained through a combination of fear and meticulous planning. Communication was encrypted, logistics compartmentalized, and trust reserved for only the inner circle. Enforcers handled threats ruthlessly, and rivals were eliminated or absorbed. Even within their organization, loyalty was constantly tested. Surveillance and internal checks ensured that betrayal was nearly impossible, creating a sense of omnipotence for the drug lord. Yet, as history has shown, no system is foolproof. The video footage leak, the empire's downfall began with a seemingly trivial event. A video captured, either accidentally or deliberately, that exposed critical operations aboard the private jet. Perhaps it was a crew member recording, a surveillance drone catching activity, or a rival slipping a camera into the wrong hands. The footage was explosive. It showed meetings with international associates, hidden compartments for smuggling, and evidence of illegal shipments. The drug lord's identity, previously protected, was now undeniable. The video spread quickly, reaching law enforcement, journalists, and rival factions. Immediate consequences. The leak had an immediate ripple effect. Law enforcement agencies across borders were able to trace routes, shipments, and personnel. The once invincible private jet became a liability. Its flight paths, stopovers, and crew were all compromised. Rivals and enemies, sensing vulnerability, began to maneuver. Loyalty within the organization wavered. The empire, which had seemed untouchable, started unraveling as fear replaced certainty. Law enforcement's response. Authorities seized on the footage, using it to coordinate an international crackdown. Surveillance, raids, and arrests followed quickly. The drug lord, previously able to evade capture through mobility and secrecy, now faced coordinated efforts that could not be ignored. Investigators used the footage to identify accomplices, track financial transactions, and predict movements. The very jet that symbolized freedom became the most dangerous asset in the criminal's life. Internal collapse. Inside the empire, trust collapsed. Crew members, pilots, and even top lieutenants began cooperating with authorities to protect themselves. Communication channels were compromised, and the once smooth operations became chaotic. The drug lord's carefully constructed world crumbled in months, then weeks, then days. Each leak of information, each arrest, and each betrayal accelerated the downfall. Paranoia replaced confidence, and fear dictated decisions. The hunt intensifies law enforcement, intensified efforts, deploying advanced technology and intelligence to track the drug lord. International coordination allowed authorities to anticipate movements, intercept shipments, and predict safe houses. For the lord, the sky was no longer a refuge. The once powerful private jet became a trap, constantly monitored, a reminder that freedom was gone. Every flight risked interception, every landing a potential ambush, capture, and arrest. Eventually, the drug lord was cornered. The combination of video evidence, intelligence operations, and internal betrayal led to an arrest that stunned the criminal world. The once invincible figure, who had commanded fear across continents, was now in custody, powerless and exposed. The trial revealed the scale of the empire, the sophistication of operations, and the extreme lengths taken to maintain secrecy. The footage that initiated the downfall became a centerpiece of the case, proving beyond doubt the extent of criminal activity. Psychological profile. Experts examining the case highlighted a psychological arc common among high-level criminals. Confidence, control, and invincibility give way to paranoia and vulnerability once the first cracks appear. The private jet symbolized both dominance and eventual exposure. It allowed freedom and mobility, but also made activities traceable. Wealth and power insulated the drug lord for years, but ultimately, the same resources magnified the consequences of a single mistake. Impact on associates and the network. The fallout extended beyond the drug lord. Associates, pilots, enforcers, and family members faced arrest, prosecution, and exposure. The empire's collapse disrupted international supply chains and exposed criminal networks previously hidden from authorities. Rivals seized territory, and competing organizations scrambled to fill the void. The leak destabilized not just one empire, but an entire ecosystem of illegal operations. Lessons learned. Several key lessons emerge from this downfall. No empire is untouchable. Even the most sophisticated criminal operations are vulnerable to unexpected leaks. Technology cuts both ways. Tools used for coordination and communication can also expose operations when compromised. Wealth cannot protect from exposure. Luxury and influence may shield temporarily, but they do not prevent legal consequences. Trust is fragile. Internal betrayal often plays a decisive role in dismantling criminal enterprises. Single events can trigger collapse. One moment, a photo, a video, a tip can unravel years of planning and secrecy. The role of technology in the downfall. While the drug lord used technology to coordinate shipments, communicate with associates, and manage their empire, the same tools ultimately facilitated their capture. Encrypted messages, GPS trackers, and surveillance systems that once provided an edge were traced and analyzed by authorities. This shows how modern technology can be a double-edged sword, powerful for operations, but equally powerful in exposing them when it falls into the wrong hands. Psychological impact of sudden exposure. The leak of the footage not only threatened the empire physically, but also psychologically destabilized the drug lord. Years of calculated control, fear management, and intimidation unraveled in days. Paranoia intensified, trust evaporated, and decision-making became erratic. This psychological collapse accelerated the empire's downfall, demonstrating that even the most powerful criminals are vulnerable when their carefully constructed sense of invincibility is shattered. Aftermath and reflection. The arrest and subsequent trial sent shockwaves through the criminal underworld. Other drug lords took note, and law enforcement agencies worldwide studied the case to understand vulnerabilities and patterns. The private jet, once a symbol of power and freedom, became a cautionary tale. Even the most untouchable figures are vulnerable to the smallest leaks. Public fascination with the case highlighted the dramatic rise and fall, emphasizing both the audacity of the empire and the fragility of criminal power. The story of the private jet drug lord is a dramatic lesson in ambition, secrecy, and the unpredictable power of technology. One leak, one clip, one mistake can destroy what took years to build. It's a reminder that no matter how high someone rises, no empire is invulnerable, and even the most careful criminals can be undone by the smallest exposure. The empire built in the sky came crashing down on the ground. Luxury, wealth, and power could not shield the drug lord from justice. In the end, a single piece of footage became the linchpin for collapse, proving that in the modern world, visibility is both a tool and a trap, and that even the most powerful are not beyond exposure.